Hello everybody. If you are new to my videos, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's Mr. Montgomery again. We're going to go through a new math lesson today. We are starting a brand new unit, a whole new unit. So we have Unit 10. It even has it, right over here at the top of this page that we're on right here. It's Lesson 10-1. And just in case you're not sure what page we're going to be starting on, I wrote it down really big right over here. We are on page 401, 401. I wrote that down just because, maybe some of us are having a hard time seeing the page number at the bottom here. So if you're not open to this page, pause the video. Don't do anything yet. Just pause the video, find that page, and then hit the play button, okay? Remember, you can always pause and play the video by hitting the space bar, okay? So if you are having the video keep going, I'm going to guess that you are all set to go. Now let me make a little room over here just in case we need it. And we're going to find out what on earth we're going to be doing today. Okay, so for lesson 10-1, it says, I can add 2 multiples of 10. And you know what? Those are some big words right there. Multiples? What does that mean? All they're saying is we can take 2 different sets of 10, 2 different 2-digit numbers, and we're going to add them together. That's it. So they gave us an example here, and after we do this example, we'll do another one together to really make sure we understand what is going on. Okay, so right here, what they did was they have 3 plus 5. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in really quick. And the one thing I wish that they wrote down, so I'm going to write down for us, is after each number, we really need to make sure we have the word tens. So we have 3 tens and 5 tens. Okay? So we can even draw a picture to go along with this. So if we have 3 sets of 10, or 3 tens, how many tens towers or 10 sticks would we draw? Well, we would just draw 3, right? So let's go ahead and draw those 3 tens towers, or 10 sticks, whatever you like to call them. So 1, 2, 3, right? And for 5 tens, how many would we draw over here? Of course, we would draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, how many sets of tens did we just make at the top? Well, you can go ahead and count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 tens. Now, I like to make sure I add these drawings just because sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to have a picture to go along with the number sentence. And so you guys can see that if you knew 3 plus 5 is 8, well, trust me, you got the hard part out of the way right there. That was probably half of all the work is already done. How cool is that? So we already did half the work. Boom, done. And you're probably thinking, well, what on earth does this have to do with what we're doing with, a bunch of 2-digit numbers? Well, when we add different sets of tens, really, we're just adding the tens placed together. So they kind of put each set of 10 written as its big number right below. So 3 tens we know is 30. And 5 tens is 50. And again, this is another reason why I like to draw the pictures. Because just in case we forgot, guess what? We can count by tens with the picture. 10, 20, 30. Alright, we just checked it. 3 tens is definitely 30. Or for 5 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So yeah, 5 tens is definitely 50. Or if you guys remember my little trick from one of my earlier videos, for whenever they say like a certain number of tens, you just add a 0 at the end, and that's the big number that it makes. That's it. It's a little trick that I like to use. So if we know that 3 tens is 30, 5 tens is 50, what would 8 tens be? Well, just in case some of us are unsure, let's draw our 8 tens. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we have 8 tens. And then we can double check our picture and count out by tens to make sure that we definitely have the right answer here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So 8 tens is 80. Or if you like my little trick from that I just mentioned earlier, just bring the 8 down, put a 0 at the end, and that's the big number that it makes. Easy peasy. Okay, but what if the question was a little bit different? Let's see if we can do one more practice problem before we move on to the next page, because they kind of laid this out for us, but now I'm going to set one up for you guys, and you can do all the work right below, because this didn't take up too much space. Okay, so I just made up a brand new problem that is very similar to what we just did, except instead of me just giving you guys, the 3 plus 5 and, and then we would draw the picture, what if they gave us the picture of the tens and we had to figure everything out ourselves? What if this happened? How would we figure this out? Well, don't worry, because we did something similar like this in the last unit, right? We quite often we were using pictures to tell us how many tens we had. Well, we're going to do the same thing here, and you'll see that there are 2 different groups of tens. It's one group here, and there is another group over here. Okay, so now wherever you have space on your workbook page, you can go ahead and draw this picture. Now you can just make the 10 sticks that are really quick and easy. The lines, the sticks, okay? You can just go ahead and draw those. So I'll wait just a few moments so you can draw this real quick. Make sure there's a space in between so you know it's 2 different groups. And then go ahead and write this number sentence down here. So blank tens plus blank tens equals blank tens. Video. Okay, so if you're still working on it, that's fine. Make sure you hit that pause button, hit the space bar, pause the video, finish up the quick drawing. Remember, don't do all these little cubes, just make the sticks. And you already know that those count as 10. Okay, and don't forget to write down this number sentence here. Now, if the video is still playing, I'm guessing that you are all set to go, and you are ready to go over this first part together. Okay, so all we're going to do to find out this first set of 10 is we're just going to count the tens that we see in this first group. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Ooh, let me get a fun color here. Yeah, let's get red. So we have 4 tens. Okay, now how many tens are in this next group? I'll let you do this part on your own. How many tens are there? Okay, so what number did you end up writing down for this group? I want you to say it out loud, okay? I want you to say it so loud that I can hear you. Ready? Go. Wait, okay, well, let's try one more time. I couldn't hear you that time. Ready, and go. I'm just teasing you. There's a video, I can't hear you. Wait a minute, did I just hear something? Oh, man, I might have. You guys must have been screaming pretty loud. Whew. Okay, so if you said that there are 5 tens, you are right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens towers. So in our first group we have 4. Our second group we have 5. And next, to find out the total, we just add these two groups together. So you can think, what is 4 plus 5? Or you can actually use the picture to help you add them together if you would like. So real quick, I'll let you guys add 4 and 5 together and write down how many 10s you have in all. Okay, what number did you write down? I'm really hoping that everyone wrote down the number 9. There are 9 10s altogether. But now we have to figure out how exactly this would work if we had the big numbers that all these groups make. So we can, for this first number, we can use the picture to help us if you like, and you can count out each 10's tower by 10, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40. Right, 40. Or if you really like using little easy shortcuts, like I do, I love shortcuts. Little easy shortcuts. You just bring down the 5, and whenever you know it's a 10, or sets of 10, you just add a 0 at the end. So it's 50. And that's it. Nothing crazy about it. Just add a 0 at the end, because it's telling us that there's only 5 in the 10's place, and there's nothing in the 1's. So, and for 9 10s, what big number does that make? It makes 90. So, if you look really close at this last number sentence we wrote, okay, all you really do is add the 10's place. So we have a 4 in the 10's place, a 5 in the 10's place, and then that gives us 9 in the 10's place. That's it. So when we're adding 10's together, the only number that's going to change is the number in the 10's place. That's it. So hopefully this is starting to make a little bit more sense now. So we were using single numbers to start because small numbers are just a lot easier to work with. And we just take that idea of these small numbers, 4 plus 5 equals 9, and then we just make them as their big numbers because these are sets of 10. So 4 10s is 40, 5 10s is 50. You add the 10's place together because look, in the 1's place there's just zeros. Zeros don't make any bigger number. There's nothing there. So you just add the 10's place. 4 plus 5 equals 9, but since they're 10's, it's 90. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next page. We're going to go to page 402. All right, so here is page 402, 402. Come circle that page number at the very bottom there. And look what they did here. They made all these problems look just like the one that I made just for you guys on the previous page. But like always, I love to just erase this first problem so we can work on it together a little bit, just so we get a little bit more, understanding about how exactly this is working, just in case one or two of us is still a little confused on what on earth is going on here. So let's just work on this one really quick, and you'll see that they want us to do the same thing that we just did. First, what we're going to do is we are going to, well, you know what? Let me zoom in. Got to zoom in. Oh my gosh, too much. Whew. Scare me for a second. Okay, so on your page, you see two different groups of 10s, right? And we know that there's two groups because there's this big space in between them. Look at all this space. So we know that there's two groups. We have our first group here. And you know what? For a second group, let me change the color. And we have our other group over here. So let's find out how many 10s we have in our first group. So remember, whenever we were saying how many 10s, they just want to know how many towers we're seeing. So we see 1, 2, 3. 3 towers. Now how many towers do we see next? In our second group, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 towers. And then 3 plus 4 equals, well, it equals 7. And just in case you weren't sure, you can use the picture to help you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, all we have to do is write down the big numbers that these sets of tens make. So, let's do our first group first. It was 3 tens. We're just going to bring that on down. Write a 3 and put a 0 afterwards. 3 tens makes 30. And if you want to double check, you can count it out. 10, 20, 30. And then for our next number, goes in the next space. Bring that 4 down. Add a 0 at the end. And 4 tens makes 40. And you can also count this out just to play it safe. 10, 20, 30, 40. And let's see here. And since we already know what 3 tens plus 4 tens makes, we're just going to bring this 7 on down here because we know that's part of the answer. And put a 0 at the end. So 7 tens is 70. And you can even count all these out together if you want, because we know we have to combine these two groups to get it. So it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So we definitely did it right. And again, just to point this out, we have 3 and 4 makes 7. The only number that's changing is the tens place right now. We are not touching the ones place because look, there is just zeros here. If there's zeros there, it cannot become any bigger number because there's nothing there. All right, so how about we move on to number 2? And I want you to try this one all on your own. Okay, so we have our first group right here. We have our second group over here. How many tens are in each group? And then what is the total? And then write down what big numbers they make. Okay, so I'll give you guys a few moments to do this. Okay, now if you're still working on this, that is a-okay. Just do me a favor, hit that space bar, pause the video, and take your time with it. Do not rush, because when we rush through math, we tend to make mistakes, and we don't want that happening. Alright, but if you're all done already, maybe you zipped right through this, because maybe you're thinking, you know what, this is, I get it, this isn't too crazy, and you're able to zip through it. If that's the case, we're going to check our work right here. Make sure you check your answers with me and make sure you did it properly. In our first group, we just have 1 10. So I'm going to write 1. In our second group, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens. So I wrote 5. And what is 1 plus 5? It's 6. Of course it's 6. Alright, now we got to figure out the big numbers that they make. 1 10 is just, well, 10. Bring down that 1, add a 0 at the end. 5 tens is 50. Remember, you just bring down that 5 and put a 0 at the end. And then 6 tens, right, because that was our answer was 6. Bring that 6 on over, put a 0 at the end. It's 60. So 10 plus 50 is 60. So don't forget, the only numbers you're really adding are the tens place. So that's why we're doing the adding up the sets of tens first instead of the big numbers. Just to really see that we're only touching the tens place when we add. So 10 plus 50 is 60. Let's just do one more on the next page. We're going to do number 3 together on the next page. So let's go ahead and turn the page. So the page we're on now is 403, 403, and you're going to see something very, very similar. Except this time, what they're going to want us to do is we're going to skip that middle step. We're not going to write out how many tens. We're just going to write out the big numbers. All right? And maybe we'll even do one more after this one, because I kind of want to go through this first one with you guys a little bit, just to make sure that it's not confusing. Okay? So what big number does 2 tens make? Well, if you're not sure, you can count these out. Ready? 10, 20. So we're just going to write the 20 down right there. And now on the next line, write down what big number these other sets of 10 make. Because remember, we have two groups. We already took care of the one group. Now, here is the other group. What big number do these 10s make? I'm really hoping you wrote down the number. Ready? Give me a drum roll. Ready? Okay, maybe that was a bad drum sound. But it's the same amount of tens, so it is 20 again. And if you're not too sure, maybe you're still a little confused. Don't forget that the only thing we're adding is the tens place. So you can just think, what is 2 plus 2? If you know 2 plus 2, you got this. You can totally do this. 2 plus 2 is just 4. And we know that each number has a 0 at the end. So we just bring the 0 on over because the 4 is going to get lonely without it. It's going to get so lonely. Or, since we still have these really awesome pictures, we can count it out. Count it by tens. 10, 20, 30, and 40. Either way, we still get the same answer. Okay? So if there's pictures, and the pictures make it easier for you, and they really help you out, don't feel like you can't use them. They are there to help you. They are there for a reason. Don't think that you're not supposed to use the pictures. If they're there to help you. All right, let's just do one more, except this time, you guys are going to do this one completely on your own, and then we'll go over it together. Okay? So go ahead and try number 4 completely on your own. Remember, you're just writing down the big number that each group of 10 makes. So one group there, and one group there. And then write down the total. All right, if you're still working, that's fine. Hit the spacebar, pause the video, take your time with this one, okay? Don't rush it. But if you're all done and the video's still playing, let's go over it together. Now let's see. We have how many sets of 10 do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 tens, makes 50. And if you don't like counting out the tens and you like counting by 10, that's fine too. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You get the same answer either way, right? And then in our second group, we have 3 tens. 3 tens makes 30. Remember, you can also just say 1, 2, 3 and put a 0 at the end. And then we just think to ourselves, what is 5 plus 3? 5 plus 3 is 8. And then we just add a 0 at the end. That's it. So 50 plus 30 equals 80. So really, there's always little tricks to figure this stuff out, guys. We're just focusing on the tens place. 5 plus 3 is 8. And the zeros just want to come along with it because the 8's just going to get so lonely without it. All right. So if you are not in my classroom, make sure you tell your teacher that the video is all done and see what he or she would like you to do next. If you are in my class, we are going to switch over to our online assignments. So now for our completely independent work that I would like for you to complete is, first we click on our man in the blue box, right? And then we click on classwork, just like we always do. And first I want you to do the assignment that says 10-1 quick check. That's our SAVVAS website assignment. There's only 3 questions. After that, I have another assignment that says 10-1 extra practice. Now this is on IXL, and how they have it set up is just a little different. They just right away give you the addition sentence. So just remember, you are only adding the tens place. So 1 plus 3 is 4, and bring the 0 on down. Okay? And that's all you're really doing. 7 and 2 is 9, and then bring the 0 on over. So 70 plus 20 is 90. Alright? So go ahead and work on those 2. If you get done both of those really fast, I did add a brand new game on Pink Cat. Let me show you that game really quick. It's right here. It's called Sweets Maker. You get to make your own dessert. But in order to make your own dessert, you have to get the question right first. And every time you play, it's going to be a different dessert. There's like 5 different desserts you can make. So 40 plus 50. Again, 4 and 5 is 9. Put a 0 at the end. 90. And then it'll let you put on a scoop of ice cream. Boom. All right, and it'll let you make a whole bunch of different kind of fun desserts. See what kind of crazy desserts it'll let you make. Really fun stuff. All right, and that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this lesson is nice and easy and fun for you. And I will see you all next time. Have a great day.